In this video, I'm going to share with you how you can learn basic chords by ear using this one particular strategy. And if you watch until the end of the video, I'm going to share with you one of my lives, or a link to one of my lives where I fully unpack what I'm going to share with you today. So this is going to be like a simplified version. If you only have about 10 minutes, this would be a good video to kind of just run through. If you are a complete beginner to piano, you do need to know, at least for this video, the names of the white keys. So C, like the alphabet, is the white key to the left of the two black keys. And it just goes D, E, F, G. So D, E, F, G. After G, it's just A. And then B, and then the next C, which begins the sequence. So going higher on the piano or going to the right, the tone gets higher. And then going lower or going to the left, the tone gets lower. But it's the same 7 white keys that go up and down, and that's pretty much as straightforward as a piano gets. So I'm going to introduce you guys to some chord basics. So I had to kind of teach you some chords first before I can show you how to learn these chords by ear, because you need to know what to listen for. So we're going to start with, and I'm not going to get into like majors and minors and things like that. That's for a different video. This is just super basic, again, for beginners to get in the door. So I'm going to share with you 7 chords first that you need to learn. We're going to do an actual example of an actual song and how you can use these chords or use this scale to match the chords that you're hearing in your head for a song to the chords that you're playing. So with that said, we're going to start with the C chord. So here I'm going to just use my thumb for C, my middle finger for E, and my pinky for G. So C, E, and G. Very simple. So this is going to be, if we're in the key of C, right? If we're in the key of C, which I just kind of displayed that as an example, that's how a song would sound if it was in the key of C. Then if that is the case, then the C chord that I just played for you is what we call chord number 1. We're going to be using what's called chord progressions today. And a chord progression is just a sequence of chords that happen one after the other in a song. The chord progression is identified by numbers that are assigned to chords. So if we're in a key of C, the C chord would be chord number 1, right? We're going to now go over to chord number 2, which is D, right? The second scale degree. So that would be, and we're going to just use the same 3 fingers throughout this entire exercise, or the first part of this exercise. So thumb will be on D, middle finger will be now on F, and pinky will now be on A. So that's chord number 2, and we'll be referring back to this in a second. Chord number 3 is going to be the E chord, so E, thumb on E, third finger for G, middle finger for G, and pinky's going to go to B, right? And then chord number 4, you might see there's a pattern here. I'm just going 1 key up, and I'm just playing the same type of pattern chord. So F is going to be for thumb, middle finger is going to be for A, and then pinky is going to be for C. So that's going to be the F chord, chord number 4. Chord number 5 is going to be the G chord, which will be thumb on G, middle finger for B, and then pinky for D. Chord number 6 is going to be the A chord. That's going to be thumb for A, middle finger for C, and then pinky for E. And then chord number 7 is going to be the B chord, which is thumb will be on B, middle finger for D, and then pinky will be for F. And then if we go up 1 more chord, that will just bring us back to chord number 1, which is C, the C chord, which is just, you know, basically the sequence once again, starting back over. So C chord is number 1. Slide each finger over. The D chord is number 2. Slide over. E chord is number 3. Slide over. F is chord number 4. Slide over again. The G chord is number 5. Slide over again. The A chord is number 6. Chord 7 is B. And then back to chord number 1. So what we're going to do is we're going to use ear training to basically break down how these chords or how the chord progression can be used to build a song. Before I get into that, I do want to bring to your attention I do have a free Piano in 3 Steps video where if you're a complete beginner and want to get your foot in the door when it comes to learning piano, that 3-step video is going to be a great start. That video is free. There's a link in the description box where you can go and click and sign up to watch that video. It is available now. So what do we do with these chords and with these numbers, and how does this all tie into learning songs by ear or learning chords by ear? Let's take a song that most of us know, which is the Hallelujah song. I heard there was a secret chord. It's funny because the song is about chords. That's for a different topic there. But let's start with the first part of the song. I want you to listen to the song in your head, right? Listen to the melody, but also listen to the chords that match or that go with the melody. So it goes, I heard there was a secret chord that David played and it pleased the Lord, but you don't really care for music, do ya? Right? We won't do the whole song. We'll do just that part. This is a part that I use in my coaching program, and it helped my students kind of really connect the dots. So whether or not you realize it, you actually hear the chords in the background, but you may not be able to figure out what those chords are. Believe it or not, those chords are going to be one of 7 of these chords that I've just shown you. So if we're in the key of C, I heard there was a secret chord that David played and it pleased the Lord, right? So if we're playing this in the key of C, all we have to do is pick our way through the chords until we get to the chord that matches the one we hear in our head. And we just do it step by step. So for example, for the first part where it goes, I heard there was, this is what I do when I'm learning a song by ear and I have to figure out the chords. I go with the key. First of all, we have to figure out the name of the key of the song, which in this case, in this example, is in the key of C, right? I heard there was. So for the first chord, I heard there was. What I do is I just go through each of the chords until I get to the one that matches. So in this case, conveniently, the first chord is actually chord number 1, which is the C chord. I heard there was so do you hear the matching? This is what we use when we're learning songs by ear. So we're not kind of just, pulling it out of the air. We're actually using a system here. So I heard there was and then for the word secret chord, right? You have to figure out what chord is it, right? I'm going to help you out here. So we figured out the first chord is chord number 1. I heard there was a secret chord. So immediately you can tell it's not chord number 2. So let's keep going. I heard there was a secret chord. You can hear it's not chord 3. What about chord 4? I heard there was a secret chord. It sounds almost like it. If it sounds almost like it, it's probably not it. Let's keep going. I heard there was a secret chord. Doesn't quite sound right with chord number 5. What about chord number 6? Let's go to the A chord. I heard there was a secret chord. That might be a match. And then guess what? If you listen to when he sings that David played and it pleased the Lord, believe it or not, if you listen, it's actually the same 2 chords that just repeat themselves. So it goes 1, 6, 1, 6, which is a chord progression. So I heard there was a chord 6, secret chord, that chord 1, David played, and it chord 6, please the Lord. But then it changes. So for but you, that's a different chord. So let's try that. But you, it may sound like it's chord 2, not exactly. Let's keep going. That's chord number 3. But you don't, definitely not the right chord. What about chord number 4? But you don't really, I think we have a match. So it goes 1, 6, 1, 6, 4. I heard there was a secret chord that David played and it pleased the Lord, but you don't really. And then for care for music, that's a different chord. So let's go back to chord 1 and figure out if it's that chord. So, but you don't really care for music. Not quite. Let's try chord number 2. But you don't really care for music. Could be, but not quite a match. But you don't really care for music. Almost. Let's keep going. But you don't really. What about chord number 5? Care for music. I think we have a match here. And then for the word do ya, it actually just resolves to chord number 1. So if you use your ear, you'll figure out the chord progression is 1, 6, 1, 6, 4, 5, 1. Now we have I heard there was a secret chord that David played and it pleased the Lord, chord 4, but you don't really 5 care for music. 1, do ya? So understanding the chord scales for a particular key, you'll be able to narrow down to what chords you're working with. And if you're learning through a song, if you're figuring out the chords, you can use that chord benchmark or that chord scale to pick your way through each of the chords. And as you practice more with ear training, you'll find yourself actually learning a lot faster, because just like with actual physically practicing, when you're training your ear, you're also training your ear to pick up chords faster. And you'll get to a point where you'll be able to hear chords, and without even being able to, or without even having to go to the keyboard, you'll be able to hear right away, oh, that's this chord, or that's that chord. So that's something that does happen over time. I did say I was going to provide a full video where I went completely unpacked with how this whole concept worked. That video I'm going to provide in the link at the top right of this video. So if this was helpful, please like, comment, subscribe, turn on the notification bar. I do put out, or notification bell. I think it's a bell. Yeah, it's a bell. I do videos about once or twice a week on complete basics on how to learn piano. If you're a complete beginner, if you're advanced, this may not be, your type of style, or if this is a good refresher, still subscribe if you find it very helpful. And make sure that you ask questions in the comment section. I'm very interactive when it comes to people asking questions, needing clarification on what I've gone over. I'd be more than happy to help. So thank you for watching. Look forward to seeing you in my future videos.